just being silly, just for a laugh, and then suddenly be able to just switch to a serious note and talk about art in depth. I think that was what we had in common, and especially my information that I could give him about the ballet world and opera. And he enjoyed all that immensely, so we were able to just jump in and out of serious conversations and have a right old laugh, which you don't find often with people. They're either seriously minded or they're outrageous. I think that's what we had in common.
The next album, The Works, was released on February the 27th, 1984, which included two of the band's major hits, Radio Gaga and I Want to Break Free.
They came back with The Works, which was possibly their heaviest album since the days of Sheer Heart Attack, really. They came back with these enormous riffs, like Hammer to Fall. You still hear it on the radio today.
Following Freddie's solo album, Mr. Bad Guy, in the spring of 1985, they were invited to appear at the Live Aid charity extravaganza in July. Queen, and in particular Freddie Mercury, stole the show.
And they played Radio Gaga, and for the first time, he saw 75,000 people doing all those hand movements perfectly. And I remember him saying, "They're doing it better than we ever did in the video." And the thing is, then he realised the power of video. That all these people were doing what they had seen in the video. Nobody asked them to do it. It was just the natural reaction. And they'd been doing it for the shows, but he had never really seen it. He'd see a few people at the front do it. That's as far as the vision went, you know, with the lights on you. So I think, and again, for the band, that was an important... It showed them that people loved them. They were still something in people's minds.
I did go to the Live Aid concert, where I think he really stole the show, quite frankly. And I remember Elton had a little caravan just outside Wembley Stadium, and so I was John Reid's guest. And Freddie was there. George Michael I met for the first time because he was going to sing with Elton. And we all went in and out. We didn't see everything. We kept coming out, you know, and having another glass of champagne. And I introduced Freddie to Viscount Linley, and I said to Viscount Linley, "This is the Queen." And Freddie went, "Oh, stop it, Mr. Sleep." You know. But so he was quite embarrassed by that, but which you'd find rather strange, really, because, you know, it was only for a laugh, but you know, that's how modest he really was. And then, of course, he went on and just brought the house down. I remember shivers going up my spine.
I've seldom been so nervous, in fact, probably never. But I think it was the greatest day of our lives, even though we played only a very small part in it. I think it's the thing I'll remember above all out of what we've done in our career. It's amazing, amazing day.
On March the 17th, 1986, the new single, A Kind of Magic, reached #3 in Britain and shot to #1 in a total of 35 countries around the world. The album of the same name was released on June the 2nd and went straight to #1 in Britain.
Kind of Magic, the song, is in the top 5 of the best songs I've ever done. It's poppy, it's got loads of really difficult guitar stuff in it. Those major scales going up are not easy, and he pulls them off live, obviously. He pulls them off every time, as the tour later on the year proved, you know. But of course, Kind of Magic was sort of a half a Queen album, half a soundtrack for the Highlander film. So whatever parameters the Highlander requirements put on the music, you could never, well, I could never fully accept it as a whole Queen album, even though it had all the hallmarks.
It was again an album of the times. In a way, the Queen are quite good at a good barometer of what's happening in music at the time. Although it's the very mainstream end of it. Certainly, they never dealt in funk or hip hop or anything like that. But in terms of musical technologies, what they do is quite a good reflection of what's happening on a more wide scale in the world of music. So Kind of Magic, as an album and a song, reflects that very well.
Promoting the album, Queen wound down their Magic World Tour at Wembley Stadium in July 1986.
I mean, the one show I saw of Queen in all the time I was there was the Wembley show in '86. And that was stunning. You know, you can feel, Freddie reacts to audience, the whole band will react to the audience. Okay, they make their entrance and the audience roars, which gives something for the band to feed on. And the more the audience gives, then the more the band will give. And this goes for each of the members. They feed on this power coming from the audience. And to actually, you know, even on stage, you can see it on every show, and you can feel some of it. But when you're actually sitting in the middle of the crowd, it's impossible to describe. You just sort of burst. You're bursting inside.
Queen completed that year's Magic Tour at Britain's Nebworth Castle in Hertfordshire, performing to over 120,000 people. Queen were at the pinnacle of their concert form. However, unwittingly, the event was to become an historic one. It was to be the group's last live performance.
Nebworth is such a dramatic arena, a huge, great bowl with stately home in the background, and yeah, it was the last night of their tour. You know, they'd set it up for their tour party, after end of tour party, with all sorts of fairground amusements backstage, and mud wrestling and bouncy castles and sort of body-painted naked models. I mean, it was a big blowout party of celebrating what they said at the time was their best ever European tour. And so, yeah, they arrived, Freddie arrived by helicopter.
We went to Battersea heliports and went up in about 2 helicopters, I think just Freddie's and his lot. And I don't like flying, especially in helicopters.
Freddie never really enjoyed helicopter flights either. Roger did, Brian did, John did. But Freddie just sort of sits there, quiet. But then, as we were coming in over Nebworth, and you saw this vast mass of people, it's mind-numbing.
And all these people, I mean, thousands and thousands of people, and landed round the back, and that was it. And that was something else. That was quite a good feeling.
There was a huge roar from the crowd as he stepped off the helicopter and walked towards backstage. And then when he came on, yeah, just an absolutely fantastic reaction. I mean, the same sort of reaction that he got at Live Aid and at Wembley. And you could see how he was responding to it. I mean, he was just having a ball. And, you know, he was up there saying, you know, this is an enormous place, even by our standards, and you all look beautiful, and, you know, this is the best European tour we've ever done, and what a great way to end it with this fantastic show at Nebworth.
One of the songs I remember from that was It's a Kind of Magic, which was great, and then all these huge things lifted off into the sky, and that was great because it's one of the good it's such a feel-good song. It's a kind of magic, and it says so much. And that one I did remember very, very much.
One of the things that's always amused me about Queen,